What's up? This is the Objective Jerk, and I'm said jerk. How's everybody doing? Uh, Hope everybody's doing pretty good. Did you watch the? Or I guess you. Well, yeah, it wasn't. I guess they. Anyway, the interview with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I think it was supposed to be, like a. It was going to be an interview that you could watch. I know they weren't in the same place, but then they were having problems, and so it became audio. I listened to most of it. I didn't really. I was kind of trying to do my first live stream, which didn't turn out that great, and it was a shit show from the beginning. Like, I don't know. I had like I was man, what was I doing? So first I usually use Safari and I use like DuckDuckGo. But I have the only time I use Google on my computer is when I have to get on Twitter or X or whatever. And so I was like, well, I'll do it on Google so I can, because I'll be watching it on Twitter and but then I couldn't get the camera on, and it was getting close to the time, and I was like, oh man, I was sitting there trying to figure it out. Finally, I closed it, and I started like 3 or 4 live streaming sessions, but anyway, so I did end up doing it, and then I was it was almost like an hour long, I think, but it got delayed because of the problem they were having, and then so I was just sitting there trying to figure out some stuff, and then I would kind of talk to myself, and then when I noticed that I actually had a few viewers, I would try and entertain them as best I could. But I think it was just marketing people trying to. No one would like chat or whatever. So anyway, it was pretty horrendous, but some people have watched it or started it. You can watch it if you want. It's on the Rumble channel. In all honesty, it was pretty lame. So anyway, but there's that. So I don't know. I was originally going to kind of talk about some politics, but I don't know. I'm gonna instead talk about a serial killer that I just kind of came across. I don't know. Is anybody like into like true crime serial killer stuff? I think a lot of people are. Like the Dahmer show is pretty popular. Then they have those like Dahmer tapes and the Bundy tapes and it's I don't know. I'm one of those people I find it kind of interesting. But who's to say, right? Anyway, so what I thought I would do was I came across this guy, and I can't say that I have heard of him before. So I was trying to find a content creator that did the story, but there isn't really anybody. There's a couple like basically. It's funny because it's like an actual TV show production doing the. I don't like that. I'd rather watch a good content creator that just gives me the basic information, shows some pictures, gives me the history. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but like, and there's a couple of them that I like. There's some that I don't, and but yeah. So I was like, I was trying to find it and find something that I would like, but I couldn't find one. And then I just thought, you know what? Maybe I'll read about it, and I'll just on my next podcast. Not that I'm trying to do like a true crime, whatever, but just, kind of stuff that I'm finding out for the first time. I kind of want to record, I guess, as part of it. I don't know. It's a thing I'm trying. So let me know. Anyway, the serial killer that I am going to read about is the toy box killer. His name was David Parker Ray. I want to say his name sounds familiar. I don't know, but I don't think I heard of this guy until just a couple days ago. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm just reading this off Wikipedia. So anyway, David Parker Ray, he was born in 1939, died in 2002. Oh, did I just spoil it? Anyway, also known as the Toy Box Killer, he was an American kidnapper, torturer, and serial rapist and suspected serial killer. Oh, maybe that's why, because he's a suspected serial killer. So he's not an actual serial killer, I guess. So that's kind of a bummer. I mean, it's not a bummer, I guess, but I guess I could see why. Anyway, all right. Ray kidnapped, raped, and tortured an unknown number of women over many decades. Damn. At his home in Elephant Butte, New Mexico. So, if he was kidnapped, okay, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy that it took that long for anything to happen if he wasn't killing them. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. Anyway, occasionally assisted by accomplices, including his daughter. Oh, nice. Glenda Jean Jesse Ray and partner Cindy Hendy. Ray was suspected by authorities and accused by accomplices of murdering up to 60 of his victims. Okay. However, no bodies or definitive evidence have ever been uncovered linking him to any murders. Ray was arrested in 1999 after one of his victims escaped and was convicted of kidnapping and torturing in 2001. He received a lengthy sentence, but was never tried for murder due to lack of evidence. He died of a heart attack about 1 year into his... Oh, that's lame. Oh yeah, died 2002. Well, I said that earlier. Ray used soundproofing methods on a semi-trailer, which he called his toy box. Gross. And equipped it with items used for sexual torture. He would kidnap about 4 or 5 women a year, holding each of them captive for around 2 to 3 months. During this period, he would sexually... Damn, 2 or 3 months? During this period, he would sexually abuse his victims and often torture them with surgical instruments, sometimes involving his friend's wife or even his dog. And peanut butter. Then Ray would drug them with barbiturates in an attempt to erase their memories of what had happened before abandoning them by the side of the road. I wonder if a lot of people were like, I was abducted by aliens, but it was actually this dude. Let's see. Biography time. How long is this? How long is this whole thing? Suspected. Oh, crap, dude. I gotta get reading. Okay. Or do I need to read his biography? I'll just skip that. There's kind of a lot. Criminal history. All right, here we go. We'll just do that. All right. Ray sexually tortured and presumably killed his victims using whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreader bars, surgical blades, electric shock machines, and saws. It is thought that he terrorized many women with these tools for many years with the help of accomplices who are alleged to have included several of the women he was dating.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could, like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So, hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. Ray's torture room was a repurposed, soundproofed cargo trailer located immediately outside his Elephant Butte, New Mexico. Am I saying that right? Boot? I think so. Butte? But anyway, Ray stocked the trailer, which he called the toy box, with numerous sex toys, torture implements, syringes, and detailed diagrams showing ways of inflicting pain, as well as a homemade electric generator to electrocute his victims. In total, Ray is believed to have spent $100,000 on the trailer, fitting it with sex toys and torture devices. Reportedly, Ray constructed elaborate contraptions to confine his victims, such as a fur-lined coffin, and a makeshift pilroy. Pilroy. Oh, like a stockade. Okay. Stockade. So like the thing you stick your head and your hands in, or not stockade, but I call them a stock. Let me see. Hold on. The pillar is a device made of wooden metal framework erected on a post with holes securing the head and the hands, used during medieval Renaissance periods for punishment. I always thought they called it the stock or something. Anyway, in addition, there was also elaborate locks and pulleys to prevent his captives from escaping. A mirror was mounted in the ceiling above the obstetric table. I think I said that right. To which he strapped his victims so that they would be able to see themselves be raped and tortured. Man, he has been said to have wanted his victims to see everything he was doing to them. Ray also put his victims in wooden contraptions and bent them over and immobilized them while he and his dogs and sometimes other friends raped them. Ray often had an audio tape recording of his voice playing for his victims whenever they regained consciousness. He often had an audio tape recording of his voice played for his victims. Man. In the transcripts of his tapes, Ray detailed how he would occasionally release his captives, abandoning them by the side of the country road after severely drugging them with barbiturates to induce amnesia, which would prevent them from reporting the assaults. I get off on mind games, clearly. After we completely through with you, you're going to be drugged up real heavy with a combination of sodium pentanol and phenobarbital. They're both a hypnotic drug that will make you extremely susceptible to hypnosis, audio hypnosis, and hypnotic suggestion. You're going to be kept drugged a couple of days while I play with your mind. By the time I get through with brainwashing you, you're not going to remember a fucking thing. Oh, so this is just like a quote from this tape. Okay. He he would kidnap about 4 or 5 women a year, holding each of them captive for around 2 or 3 months. Exactly how many murder victims Ray claimed over the years is uncertain. Well, how do they know if they have no evidence? Why do they even think that? I guess maybe it'll say. Investigators believe that he raped, tortured, and killed up to 60 individuals over the course of his life, but they have not been able to locate any of their remains. A diary that Ray kept detailed what he did to each victim, but it did not disclose where he buried their bodies. Also, he made a journal saying he killed them, I guess. According to the accomplice, Cindy Handy. Oh, yeah, plus I forgot about them. Ray's fatal victims were dismembered and buried, dumped in the Elephant Butt Lake or in nearby ravines. After his arrest, Ray agreed to show authorities where he had buried his victims, but he died before he could do so, and Handy was unable to assist investigators in recovering any possible bodies. Dude, man, was it like a year into his sentence and he dies? Fuck. Basically got away with murder. I mean, to an extent. The Albuquerque FBI in 2011 released hundreds of images of items that were collected during the investigation of Ray. The FBI believes some of the items, which include jewelry and clothes, may have been taken from the victims. The FBI, along with its law enforcement partners in New Mexico, is aggressively pursuing several leads in the search of remains of any possible victims of David Parker Ray. So this was, over 10 years ago that this was released. We are asking family and friends of missing people to look over these photographs and contact us if they recognize any of these items. Okay. Suspected victims. Billy Ray Bowers. That's a dude. Okay. 53 disappeared from Phoenix, Arizona. In 88. 89, the body of an unknown man wrapped in a blue tarp was found by a fisherman at McCrea Cove at Elephant Butt Lake in Elephant Butt, New Mexico. No identification was found on him, and it was determined that he had been shot in the back of the head. The unidentified I'm saying that wrong. The unidentified I don't know how to say this. Decedent. Oh, because he's deceased. Okay. Shut up. Anyway, decedent was ultimately identified as Bowers in March of 99 when authorities made dental record comparisons. In 86, Bowers was a co-owner of Canal Motors, a used car business that was on North Van Buren Street in Phoenix. The owners employed Ray, who worked as a mechanic and was described as very talented, but was also often in conflict with Bowers. While incarcerated, Hindi stated that Ray told her he had killed Bowers and dumped his body. Okay. So that was just he didn't like the guy. Not that makes it alright, but alright. Another suspected victim, 22-year-old Jill Suzanne Troya, was last seen in a Frontier restaurant, Albuquerque, New Mexico, during a late evening of September 95. She had gone to a bar with her friends earlier, then went with her girlfriend, Glenda, Jean, Jesse, Ray. Oh, that's the girl, right? Or the that's his daughter, right? When they left to go to the restaurant. Witnesses reported Glenda and Troy had an argument. Glenda later told police she left Troy at the Frontier restaurant and left with her father, Ray, and that she and David went to the Elephant Butt Reservoir in southern New Mexico. Troy has never been heard from again. Ray wrote detailed accounts of sexual tortures and burials of victims, including one in which he described an Asian woman who fit Troya's description. Among the possessions associated with the victims was a 2-page letter dated June 1990 to a young woman named Connie from an Australian man named Mark. According to Ray's journal, Connie was a white woman that he abducted and murdered in December of 95. She was 18 years old, had long blonde hair, a birthmark on her chest, and was so tall. The Australian Federal Police and FBI conducted an investigation hoping to locate Mark so that he would be able to identify Connie and her family and friends, but were unable to do so. Her remains have not been located or linked to an existing unidentified or missing person case. Let's see, there's 2 more. Anyway. All right, another suspected victim was Sylvia Marie Parker, 22, was a homeless woman living in the shores of Elephant Butt Lake who was an acquaintance of Ray's through his daughter, who supplied her with methamphetamine and cocaine. Parker was also the mother of 2 children and was living with them in a tent she had borrowed from David. The police later discovered that Parker's boyfriend at the time was Dennis Yancey, one of Ray's playmates. Parker disappeared on July 97 when she was abducted and subjected to several days of torture before accomplice Yancey strangled her to death under orders by Ray. Yancey took police to where he disposed of the body with David, Parker Ray, and Jesse Ray, but the body had been moved. Yancey suspected that the police support the theory that Ray came back to move the body later in the case. Yancey ever had a softening of his conscience and confessed. All right. 10:30, June 1999. Ralph Tudor, a 61-year-old El Paso resident, was fishing in the Elephant Butt Lake. Caught on Tudor's fishing line was an 80-pound gunny sack filled with what he thought was animal flesh. The sack was split along its seam. He then suspected it was human body parts and alerted the authorities. The gunny sack was determined to contain human flesh, but no organs or bones. This meant that the unidentified victim was mutilated and dismembered before being dumped in the lake. Allegedly, Ray said, the thing to do is to cut them down the belly, scoop out their guts, fill the chest cavity with cement, weights, and then use baling wire to wrap them up. Furthermore, state police found bone fragments in Elephant Butt Lake belonging to a human leg. The DNA identified the victim as a female, but she was not linked to any report missing woman. Man, dude, that's pretty nasty. That's why you don't go swimming in lakes. Sucks though, man. You can't go swimming in an ocean. You might get eaten by jaws. You go swim in a lake, you're going to be swimming with dead people. Makes you think, right? How many times you went cliff diving or just went swimming in a lake and how many dead people are at the bottom of that lake. Ugh. Anyway. All right, arrest and investigation. Cynthia Vigil was abducted from an Albuquerque parking lot by Ray, I guess this is the one that got away, and his girlfriend, Cindy Hendy. She was taken to Elephant Butte, confined to the trailer, and tortured. After 3 days of captivity, Vigil escaped from the trailer in March of 99. To escape, she waited until Ray had gone to work and then unlocked her chains with keys that Hendy had left on a nearby table. Hendy noticed Vigil's attempt to escape, and a fight ensued. During the struggle, Hendy broke a lamp on the captive's head, but Vigil unlocked her chains and stabbed Hendy in the neck with an ice pick. Nice. That's how you do it, man. That's what pisses me off. Like, about what movie was it when I was just watching something, and it was like, I mean, I guess it's like a stressful. Oh, it was some serial killer movie with Morgan Freeman, and it's like this dude's got a bunch of girls, and kiss the girls, I think is what it is, in like in a cave, and they all have they're all locked in these rooms, and then there's these rules and crap or whatever. But so the main chick is able to fight off the guy and get out of her room, and I'm just like, dude, shut the door, lock it. You know he can't get out. I mean, maybe he knows a secret way, but still, it's like, I don't know. It's just so many movies where people just are kind of, again, you're sitting on your couch watching it, and they, stress and scared and freaking out, but still, it's like, dude, use your head a little bit, and it's just kind of annoying. It just kind of shows you that a lot of people that write these movies and everything are idiots. Anyway. All right, so stabbed her in the neck with an ice pick. That's badass. All right. Vigil fled while wearing only an iron slave collar, man, and padlock chains. She ran down the road seeking help, which she got from a nearby homeowner who took her in, comforted her, and called the police. Her escape led officials to the trailer and instigated the capture of Ray and his accomplices. Police detained Ray and Hendy. Another victim, Angelica Montano, came forward with a similar story to that of Vigil. She said she had been held captive by Ray after Hendy invited her to the house to pick up a cake mix. After being raped and tortured, Montano convinced the pair to release her along the highway. She was picked up by an off-duty law enforcement officer and told him what happened, but he did not believe her and left her at a bus stop. She also later called police about the incident, but there had been no follow-up. I mean, it is kind of a crazy story, but I mean, could she explain where it was at or anything? Like, I don't know. He did not believe her. I mean, at first, I don't know if I would believe her either, really. But then she probably couldn't give much information, so he's like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know. So he just probably figured it was somebody that was, because that's the thing that people have to realize is cops deal with so much outrageous shit that 80% of the time is bullshit. So when they do get something that's outrageous, that's factual, they don't always believe it, But, I mean, I would like to assume that he at least tried to. I mean, if she was like, oh, it was this, if they gave him information, he should have followed up on it, but I don't know. Doesn't really say. Kind of curious. Anyway, police identified another victim, Kelly Garrett, from a videotape which dated in 96. Garrett was found alive in Colorado. After police identified her from a tattoo on her ankle, she testified that she had gotten in a fight with her husband and decided to spend the night playing pool with friends. Ray's daughter, Jessie, who knew Garrett, took her to the Blue Water Saloon in New Mexico and may have drugged in the beer she was drinking. She offered Garrett a ride home, but instead took Garrett to her father's house. Garrett said she had endured 2 days of torture before Ray drove her back to her home. Ray told her husband that she had found the woman incoherent on a beach. Her husband did not believe that she could not remember where she had been, and Garrett said she did not know what to tell police, and so did not contact them. Her husband sued for divorce, and Garrett moved to Colorado. She was later interviewed on Cold Case Files about her ordeal. The FBI sent 100 agents to examine Ray's property and surroundings, but no identifiable human remains were found. While awaiting trial, Ray spoke to FBI profilers and said that he was fascinated by the kidnapping of Colleen Stan, American woman who was kidnapped and held as a sex slave by Cameron and Janice Hooker in their Red Bluff, California home for over 7 years, between 77 and 84. Okay. And other sexually motivated kidnappings. The FBI had spoken to Ray as early as 89 in connection with his business manufacturing and selling bondage-related sexual devices. All right. Trials and aftermath. A judge ruled that the case for crimes against Cynthia Vigil, Angelica Montano, and Kelly Garrett would be severe, meaning that Ray would be tried for each separately. Prosecutors said this damaged their case, as each woman's story would otherwise have corroborated and bolstered the other's accounts. That's kind of messed up. The judge also ruled much of the evidence found in the trailer during the 99 raid could not be admitted in the Garrett or Montano case, including Ray's audio tape in which he gave detailed description of his abducting and torturing habits. What? Why? They must have did a bad job collecting the evidence or getting warrants or something. See, that's the thing about freaking Wikipedia, man. They don't give you all the first trial for crimes against Kelly resulted in a mistrial after 2 jurors said they found her story unbelievable. Ray's defense was that the sex trailer was part of Ray's fantasy life and any sex was consensual. After a retrial, Ray was convicted on all 12 counts. A week into his trial for crimes against Vigil, Ray agreed to a plea bargain and was sentenced in 2001 to 224 years in prison for numerous offenses in abduction, sexual torture of 3 young women at his Elephant Butte home. The plea deal was to obtain leniency for his daughter. Prosecutors stated that the surviving victims had approved of the deal. Ray's daughter, Glenda Jessie Ray, was charged with kidnapping and criminal sexual penetration. She pled no contest and received a 30-month sentence with an additional 5 years to be served on probation. Even if she helped, well, I guess they can't prove it, though. In 99, 27-year-old accomplice Dennis Roy Yancey pleaded guilty to the 97 murder of 22-year-old Marie Parker. Yancey confessed to helping Jessie lure Parker into captivity in her father's trailer. Yancey said that Parker was tortured and that Ray forced him to strangle the woman to death. Prosecutors noted that no forensic evidence was found to tie Parker to the Rays. Yancey was also charged. Where'd it go? Yancey, shit. Okay, was also charged with kidnapping, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit a crime and tampering with evidence. He was sentenced to 30 years. The Rays were not charged in Parker's murder. In 2010, Yancey was paroled after serving 11 years in prison, but the release was delayed by difficulties in negotiating a plan for residence. 3 months after his release in 2011, Yancey was charged with violating his parole. He was remanded in custody, where he remained until 2021, serving the rest of his original sentence. In 2000, Cindy Hendy, an accomplice, so his girlfriend at the time, who testified against Ray, received a sentence of 36 years for her role in the crimes. She was scheduled to receive parole in 2017. She was released in 2019 after serving the 2 years of her parole. In prison. On May 28, 2002, Ray was taken New Mexico to be questioned by state police. He died of a heart attack before their interrogation took place. Suspicious. Cynthia Vigil later founded Street Safe New Mexico, a volunteer harm reduction nonprofit that works with sex workers and other vulnerable people living on the street with Christine Barber. It's kind of crazy, you know. I mean, because all the crap that the Epstein's Island and I don't know, just so many, like, it seems like a lot of really wealthy people are sick fucks, you know, and it kind of makes you wonder if maybe this guy, maybe there was other people that used that trailer, like the judge or some of the police officers or something. And the David Parker Ray guy was like, wasn't going to rat anybody out. Snitches get stitches, right? I don't know. It's kind of crazy, though. It's a weird story. It was different than I thought it was going to be. But holy crap, I've been talking for 30 minutes, so I think that's it. Let me know if you watched my live stream. Let me know if you like me talking about this crap or whatever. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time. All right, bye. Oh, and also, I changed the intro music. Did you like it? No? Let me know. All right, bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.